You talk about your honey, so you, yes, yes, my honey. So you have a thought image. You talk about Ukraine, you have a thought image. You talk about US, you have a thought image. Now give me an hour, so let me create an image about US and then I will talk to you. Then I will make a plan to travel to US. So you are creating another ignorance. Thought image. I'm just aware. That's enough. I have already seen Shiva many a times. Image of the Shiva. So the mind goes into its ignorance in a different way. When you have a thought of your honey, does it not work? Yes, it works. It works. Now I'll go to the mall and I'll go to the store and buy. It works. No, let me sit, I have to create an image of the bread before I buy it. No. The way we are doing it casually. Every day we are doing it. Only one thing, that when I have a thought image of the Shiva, I live in conscious awareness. You see that? So you need not to think about, then you will think about the neck, my neck is like this, his neck is like this. Do you ever think about the honey? Yes, when she is present before you, then you can see and you can make a comment. Otherwise, as a whole, you see the thought image of the Shiva. And that is enough. So our mind should not put undue pressure in meditation. That will take you deeper, lower down.
Yeah, I see it now.
So so we have a topic of 56 and 57. How to dissolve the impurities of the mind. How? Not by practice, but by understanding. But understanding of what? Understanding the knower. That knower is known as witness or sakshi. That knower is known as vipassana. Vipassana is not a meditation, it is just an awareness. Normally we say it's a meditation, 10 days, 50 days, witness. It is a witness awareness. Knower. So we should understand the knower and the known are separate from each other. First principle. I know you, so I am a knower, you are a known. The knower and the known. Or you can say the perceiver and the perceived. You can say the observer and the observed. They are always different. The thought image is different, but that thought image of the Shiva is full of knowledge. I keep that in mind. I am full of ignorance, and that is why I am looking at it. So first principle, that this knower and the known are different. Second is, how do I know you? We discussed in early part that knower can know anything if the knower pervades the known completely. Otherwise I cannot know. Means that consciousness pervades you all. That's why I know you. Consciousness or the knower pervades this mouse, so I know it is mouse. What is this? So it is not permeating the whole. Then I don't know. But the quality of the knower is such that it permeates. If there is some obstruction, these obstructions are known as the impurity. Same thing. Mouse is there, but I don't know the mouse is here and now. Oh, do you know the mouse here and there? Oh, no, I don't know. I don't see. So, second principle is to know anything different from me, that consciousness pervades that object completely. That is why I know an object. Third principle, knower and the seer is independent of the known, and it is all pervading. That is why it pervades any object and it knows an object. It seems very dry. I will make it more interesting, but if you live into that awareness, you can. Knower and the known are separate from each other. First principle. Any object is to be known. I am the knower, and this response is the known. Knower and the known are two different things. I know a thought, so it means thought is different and separate from me. I know my pain, pain is different from me. I know the body, body is different from me. I know the mind and the breath and the intellect and the ego and all this suffering are different from me. That is why I am not worthy of suffering. They are separate from me. So what happens? That something happens, that this knower and the known, Patanjali says that knower and the known appears to get mixed up, and then I have a problem. Appears, they don't mix up. They cannot mix up. But they appears to be mixed up. How can you say they appears to be mixed up? My hand is moving, I am conscious of my hand. So it does not mean the hand is conscious. But I feel, no, I am conscious. That's why I am moving the hand. So it means my hand is conscious. No. It is still a matter. It is still the same protein, carbohydrate, minerals. I touch the mouse, I hold the mouse, mouse does not become conscious. So that is where we understand clearly, when the mind is pure, we live into that extraordinary awareness and we understand, oh, it's so simple. Oh, I have separated. I have separated. I have separated. Second principle, to know a thing by the knower, knower pervades the known. Pervades means what? It pervades each and every aspect of that known object. That is how I know an object. Otherwise, I cannot know an object. Anything to be known, it has to be pervaded. If it does not pervade, I don't know anything. What is this? This is a room. So the light pervades a room to illuminate it. Same way, why you are automatically, this AI camera is moving. So you see that second point. For example, when I look at you or when I look at a painting, my perception fills the entire painting. That is the meaning of pervading. My act of knowing permeates the whole painting, permeates the whole room. That is why you say that she or he is my honey, soulmate, etc., etc. Third point is the knower is always independent of the known, is eternal and all pervading. Why? How? Knower is a consciousness. It pervades the object. It pervades the object. What do you mean? My body does not pervade any object. So that is why it is all pervading. Consciousness present in the mind recognizes that you are this person, but that consciousness first pervades. That is all pervading. What do we mean by all pervading? It is beyond time. Anything that is beyond time is also beyond the name and the form. They both go together. You cannot say this is eternal, this is beyond time. No, it is changing. It has come from the plastic, raw material. Oh, so this body is also consists of the parts. It is also has the raw material, the mind and the intellect and the ego. My goodness, I'm different than that. I need to be aware. So it is all pervading. So eternal means it is beyond time. What is beyond time has to be beyond name and the form. Now ask the question where I am. Don't ask, this is a stupid question, where I am. Because what is beyond time and what is name and the form is all pervading. You cannot ask. If you ask where it is, then you are pointing a location. When you are pointing a location, you are pointing a time also. It is present in that location, now it is present here. That is why we say we need a purification of mind to live into that. Do you see that? Do you see? That is the witness consciousness. That is what we are talking of, the witness consciousness. By the practice of meditation, we reveal that witness consciousness. We cannot reveal, we cannot witness. Light reveals itself in the presence of its light. The self has to reveal itself in the presence of the self. So in the beginning we go for a witness consciousness. We saw that knower which is independent, which pervades everything, is what the witness consciousness is, independent of the mind, body, breath, intellect and ego. I have to contemplate and reflect. Non-thinking creates a mixture. So I have to be conscious. So when there is a non-thinking, then what takes over? Mithya, false. So let us go slowly. What is mithya? The first characteristics of the mithya is that it is constantly changing. So it means whatever is changing cannot be me. Second, it is neither real nor unreal. How do you say that? Mirage water. I see it, so I cannot say it does not exist. It exists as a mirage water, but when I go closely, it disappears. So it is in between real and unreal. That is why it is mithya. What do you mean by where are you going? 65 years ago, this body did not exist. Now it is existing. Add another 50 years. Let us dream. If you have to dream, then 65 plus 50, you will live 115 years. What's the problem of dreaming? So 65 plus fast forward 50 years. No existence. So it exists in between. It is neither existent, it is neither nor non-existence. Why? That is why it is mithya. My friend, that is why it is mithya. Whether it is the mind or the body or the intellect and the ego. And who knows it? Knower. And that knower is the witness consciousness. That is what we get in meditation. Oh, now I can see. Third point in the mithya is the mithya does not have an independent existence. What it means? Take an example. I say you are telling a lie. Don't speak a lie. So I have a reference point of the real. Then only I can say you are telling a lie. Otherwise, I cannot say. I have no reference. So that lie depends on the truth. But the real does not depend on the lie. Real is independent. Whether the lie is there or not, it doesn't make any difference. What it means? Body is there or not, it doesn't make any difference. The consciousness is always there. The witness, knower is always there. Knower is always there. Knower is there in the sleep. Knower is there in the waking state. Knower is there in the deep sleep. That is why that one thread continues in the waking, dream, in the sleep state. So next day, that is why that consciousness makes you aware of. Otherwise, what will happen? Yesterday you are Michael and today you will become David. Every day will be different. Knower says you are still Michael. You cannot be David. With your name, with the name in the form. What is the beauty of the mithya? We explain the characteristics of the mithya. When you analyze intellectually, analyze means when you understand intellectually, when you move from the one lie to the second, what happens? By analysis, by understanding, you find that the mithya does not exist. What is left is the knower. That is our witness consciousness. That is what we are. We are here and now. Say, for example, when I say, do you know yourself? No, I don't see, I don't experience. The problem of the ignorance in the very thought process. Who says that I don't know? There is someone who says I don't know. It means there is an awareness and a consciousness who recognizes through the mind that I don't know. So it is the mind lives in ignorance. Get rid of this. Knower can say I don't know. Knower can say I know. The knower is still present when it says I don't know. And knower is always present when it says I know. That is the witness consciousness. That is the sakshi. That is vipassana. Vipassana is not a practice. Vipassana is just you live into that awareness. So how we remove that ignorance? By the self-inquiry. When we are the highest level of a seeker, we remove it by self-inquiry. So I gave an example. Do you know yourself? No, I don't know myself. So the awakened guy says, your real self is hidden behind your thought that claims I don't know my real self. What it means? You are a knower who says I don't know real self. That knower is the real self. So we say ignoring. Ignorance, our ignorance is a presence of something which is hidden. It is already present. Where is your wallet? You know, I left it at home. Now it is absent. Oh, where is your wallet? You know, let me see where is it. I don't see. So it is hidden in my pocket. So our ignorance is, it is presence of the real self, but it is hidden. So everyone who says I don't know the real self, he is hiding by the thought. When he is hiding by the thought, first it is hidden by the thought of that presence, and then it projects, no, I don't know my real self, I know I'm the body. So this is the projection, and that causes the ignorance, and then we lose hold of this. We lose hold of, we lost awareness, and from that one statement, I don't know real self, we have hundreds of the thoughts. I have lot of pain and the problem, I am related to it, and so, and we fall into the delusion. The next day we sleep and wake up, we continue to live into the delusion. Understand it again. We are just trying to understand the witness consciousness. So there are two types of absence. We talk in East and West. One, absence due to something not being present. My wallet is not in my pocket, I left it at home. There is no food in the plate because I finished it an hour ago. It is absent. And second, absence is due to something else hides its presence. Where is the remote? So remote is present here. So it is hidden by the hand. Same thing, the sun is hidden by the clouds. My keys are on the table but hidden under some paper, and I am searching my key. The tree is present in the backyard but hidden from the view from the fence. So two types of absence. We are talking of second type of absence. So that witness consciousness or the knower is like the light that illuminates the object. It enables eyes to see colors in the forms, but itself remains formless. That is what a beauty. It sees the form, but still it remains the formless. It has pervaded that form and done, finished. It remains detached. That is why it is a witness consciousness. Thoughts pops up in the mind. Thoughts pops up in the mind, but I am a knower of the thought. Nothing happens to that knower. I may have a thought, a good thought, bad thought. You have a thought of a sex or you have a thought of the mantra, it doesn't affect consciousness. You're watching a horror film, nothing happens to the screen. And you're watching a story of the Jesus Christ, nothing happens to the screen of the TV. That is the knower. It is not changing. Everything in the front is changing. Like you're watching a traffic on a road. That is the knower. When we are a knower, we are already in meditation. My eyes are looking at you through the sense organ. Mind thinks about you. Nothing is happening to the knower. Knower is in the background. mind can take your color in the form and superimpose on other person. It is the working of the mind, but still the knower is not affected. What a beautiful way to see that the world. Knower is always there. So in that knower, then the mind is reflecting through the sense organ. It sees the form, it sees the color, but that knower does not become color. If I see the red color, it means my consciousness, if it is always becomes a red color, then I will see even the white dog as a red. That is why we see it as a silver screen. Films are silver screens. It's a delusion. We live in that delusion. During perception, in deep sleep also, just look at it, the senses and the mind are totally gone. But the awareness, the knower is always there. And that is why I gave you an answer. You have to start with a thought image. The entire world is mapped in the mind as thoughts, ideas, perception. Nothing more than that. You cannot recognize any object without a thought. So that thought image is already there. What is watch? What is car? What is house? What is gas stove? What is grinder? What is facts? What is body? Thought image. So the way you see the thought image here, you can also see the Shiva. Where is the problem? But because of ignorance, because what is that ignorance? I see the absence of Shiva. That is the problem. Absence of Shiva. Do you know your honey? Yes. I have seen her or him physically. But that does not prove that you have an image of the honey because of physical perception. You see the mirage water, it does not exist. Your perception may be wrong. Extraordinary awareness, you live into that extraordinary awareness, and that is the knower, that is the witness, consciousness. If we are a seeker of the highest level, we instantly recognize the world is mapped in the mind as thoughts, ideas, perception. Knower illuminates the world mapped in the mind. It is not affected by any mapping. Light is not affected by whether I see the screen or you or any article. So the knower is also not affected. Senses in the mind get a glimpse of the world. Knower provides the awareness to recognize this information. What I said? Senses in the mind catch a glimpse of the world. What is that glimpse of the world? In the name and the form of changing, in the form of good and bad, in the form of right and wrong. But behind that, awareness is always there, that witness consciousness. So I need not to worry even if I sit in meditation. I need not to say thoughts are distracting me. No, they cannot distract me. Why? They distract the mind, they cannot distract the knower. That knower is ever present. If it distracts the knower, then you cannot have a permanent knower. It means if it has distracted, it has changed. And what is changing is not me, it is the mind. That is a very deeper level of ignorance we are suffering from. Simple example. Mind says, I have lot of thoughts. Pay attention. When I said I have lot of thoughts, this is also a thought that I forget to recognize. And then I say, no, I was distracted. Come on, you were distracted. You cannot be distracted. You are the knower. After all, who says I am distracted? So you create a thought. And thought is a changing identity. And behind that, so you know you have said that mind is distracted. You recognize that there are many other thoughts of distraction. So all are the thoughts. Why don't you recognize when you make a statement that is a thought that I am distracted? That is also a thought. So you cannot be distracted at any moment of time in your life. And that is the reason, even if your mind is distracted, you drive carefully. Even if you are listening to music while in the car, you still drive carefully. That is why in millions of girls you recognize your honey. If it is distracted, you should not recognize. Then we will have one honey every day, 365 days. We are always happy then. So those people are happy, they are living in ignorance, because any honey cannot make you happy. That is the same example. The waves rise in the fall in the ocean, but the ocean remains unchanged. That ocean remains unchanged. Thought come and go in the mind, but the sakshi or the witness remains unchanged. With these all examples, I see the knower is absolute, all-pervading, unmodified. Modified means changing. I may become 80 years old, but that knower remains the same. I'm 5 years old, knower is the same. 20 years old, knower is the same. You have to clearly identify. That is why we are doing that meditation, in order to be a knower. Say, just take an example. Yesterday you ate pasta. So the knower is aware that you ate pasta. But if the same knower is not present now, it cannot recognize you have eaten pasta. Knower is the one. If it is the second knower, I don't know. What have you eaten yesterday? Only one thing, you may have forgotten it. That is why we say, I forgot what I ate yesterday. It means still you recognize there is one knower. Still you recognize. I am happy, knower. I am angry, knower. The knower is still the same. I divorce you, knower is the same. I marry you, knower is the same. Because I identify myself with the name in the form, in the time. Gone. Why? Ignorance. Let us go little deeper. When we say I know my mind, that I here refers to the knower that illuminates the mind. Because the knower has to be different from the known. When I say I know the mind, I know the mouse. I'm different from the mouse. Knower, first principle. Knower and the known are different. Now come closer. We are coming closer. So I know my mind. Okay, so my mind is an object, is the known, and I am a knower. And I know that the knower and the known cannot go together. So why to worry? So my mind is crazy, but I am still happy. My mind is in stress, but I am still happy. Why? Knower cannot become the known. Once you recognize, your stress dissolves and evaporates. We are living in ignorance. That is the problem. Ignorance is of two types. Don't forget, absence and presence. So even if I say that I am in stress, I am recognizing real self, and still I don't admit it. Don't you see that I am in stress? Don't you see that? So by that example and analysis, I recognize this mind is inert matter. It is changing. It takes a different shape. My perception has a perceived reality, but still it is not real. Why you are moving, my friend? It changes to, it has an artificial intelligence. So when my body moves, it also starts moving. So that nature of the knower, which I say we can say it is a universal witness consciousness. That consciousness is all pervading. It permeates, it pervades an object and it knows the object. It means it does not have a name in the form. It is that knower which illuminates the mind, and through the mind it illuminates the sense organ. From the sense organ I know it. I know the world, but I forget the knower which is pure consciousness. Why? Again go back to ignorance, impurity and projection. So the problem is, where is the problem? When that consciousness reflects in the mind, it becomes a reflected consciousness. Mirror is a reflected medium. Reflected medium is mind. Now the sun falls on it, it becomes a reflected consciousness. So when the sun rays falls on the mirror, you see the reflected light somewhere else. That reflected light is the world, thought, feeling, images. Why we are doing this meditation? In order to recognize the thought image, so that we can separate itself. So first we have to recognize it. Otherwise we recognize, no, I see it. I see you, you see me. So I am not able to separate the reflected consciousness from the knower. That is the problem. But that knower remains unaffected, untouched. Chidabhasha, we say it Chidabhasha, it is a reflected consciousness, Chidabhasha. So that reflected consciousness shines within the mind. Why it shines in the mind? Because it is very close to the pure consciousness. Mind is a reflected medium. So the body cannot be the reflected medium for the consciousness. Only through the mind it can be a reflected medium. No, I have understood it. No, We have to understand the next point. Because it is because of this reflected consciousness, I see the world is divided. There are 8 billion people, there are 8.4 million species. Every article that is present in my room is separate and different from each one another. It is not. It is not. It is happening because of the reflected consciousness. Sunlight has only one color, but it goes through the prism. Prism is the reflected medium. So why it reflects? Mind has the past impression, the prarabdha, that is how it reflects. So if my past impression, looking at the beautiful women, sensuality, or my prarabdha, oh, she is a goddess, because of the prarabdha. It already present, something is there. If nothing is present, how can you have something? I'm deviating, but I'm just giving you some idea that we will go deeper. So once we understand this entire process of knower, reflected consciousness, the thought image, knower and the known cannot go together, cannot mix together. They go together, but they cannot mix together. And it is the knower that pervades the object so that the object is known. And it is independent. It is all pervading. Now to raise an objection, what objection you raise? So in the 56, I have laid down the introductory part of 56, 57. So the non-seeker raises the objection. What it non-seeker and the seeker? What it raises the objection? What it says, if I translate into English, non-seeker argues that there must be many knowers, as each one can only know its own mind. Now it's a wrong logic, but it appears true. What is that? I'll tell you. Just go slowly. So non-seeker argues that there must be many knowers, many consciousnesses, as each one can only know its own mind. What it means? You just said that the knower is one, all pervading. In you and me it is one. So if it is one, then all the experiences happening in the mind, in your mind and my mind, I can know both. I can easily know what is happening in your mind, and you can also know what is happening in my mind, not only in my mind, but in Honey's mind, in people's mind. So you have to explore what is wrong here. It appears a right logic. It appears a right logic. So why he gives the right logic? And that resolves the problem. So Master is asking, this Nishchal Das is asking, okay, what you said? Pay attention. That is why I laid down the foundation. What he said, I know your mind and you know my mind. Who is this I and you? That is a creation in the mind, that is your ego. So you want to prove that ego is your witness consciousness. Answer is no. Ego cannot be your witness consciousness. Ego is constantly changing. It is simply an I thought. Technically, in Eastern wisdom, when we use the word ego, it is an I thought. We don't say ego is opposite of humility. We don't say ego is opposite of compassion. We say no, it is I thought. You say, how dare you say it is your mind and it is my mind? You have already divided, and that is your I thought, that is your ego, and you are claiming that ego is the witness consciousness. It is not possible. Ego is constantly changing. Ego is the product of the mind. There is no separate knower. There cannot be two knower, there is only one knower. Well, you mean to say there are two suns? One is reflecting, one is seeing you, and other is seeing me. So that is a very deeper level of the problem. That is why we need to practice deeper for an extended period of the time. So what happens with that thought image? We recognize, no, it is still that subtle I is still working. And that is why we say, Nama, I am not. We are just destroying this I thought. Only the Shiva alone remains. So here the master separates the ego consciousness or mental consciousness or reflected consciousness, whatever, different names you can say, and the knower. Why? How? Non-seeker says how? You did not solve the problem. Oh, it's very easy. First I said the knower is a pure consciousness. It is all pervading. It is beyond the name and the form. So when I say it is all pervading, can it be a doer? It needs a space to become a doer. It needs a space to become an enjoyer. So your ego is the doer and the enjoyer. You are not. You have to just become aware. My hand is moving, I'm speaking, I'm listening. No, it is everything is happening in the reflected consciousness. No, it is not happening in the knower. That's why I'm a knower. I cannot be changed. So idea, thought, experience of being a knower, of being a doer and the experiencer. I'm a speaker. You are a listener. I'm a feeler. You are a perceiver. Nothing belongs to me. I'm not. I'm a knower. Knower cannot be a doer. Knower cannot be an experiencer. So here we resolve the problem. Do you understand? Oh, yes. So it means now the third aspect. I just talk about it. I will talk in detail. Individual consciousness means it is a reflected consciousness which also includes the body, mind, intellect, ego, so that I have a feeling that I am an individual. But that individual, behind that individual, the knower, the real self, is different from it. So every individual should have a different mind. Where is the problem? So if it has an individual mind, all their experiences based on the mind, where is the problem? Why you claim that that individual reflected mind is me? You are not me. This is not real. That is what we have to realize in meditation. When you're doing meditation, gradually you awaken to that higher consciousness, higher awareness. And after all, mind cannot be a knower or a witness. It is only what is behind the mind can be the knower. No, no, but I know you through the mind. Okay, let me take consciousness out and you know it through your mind. Let me see. Indirectly, still the knower knows through the mind by projection, by creating a thought image of name in the form. You minus consciousness. But my mind knows you. Okay, minus consciousness. Tell me what the mind says. I don't know anything. Mind is matter. Mind is inert. You keep looking at me without a thought. Now prove that I am different from you. How can you prove? How can you prove that I am different from you? Not possible. You see how different layers of the ignorance is causing the problem. Thought image. Sense organ also cannot become the knower. Mind cannot become the knower. Only the consciousness behind the mind and the sense organ is the knower. I project myself that I know something. Fact is that I am not. So in the 57th topic, it is very simple now to understand. The sense organs are limited. It is a knower of the name in the form because of the mind, and because mind borrows the consciousness, it is a reflected consciousness. Eyes looks at the color in a substance. They also know the substance in which color, but behind the sense organ there is one knower. The skin knows the touch. Eyes, tongue, knows only the sound, taste, and the smell as attributes, as qualities, but not the substance itself. That is why we say, do you know me? Yes, I know you. You are Michael and you are a male. No, you don't know me. This is the name in the form. So the mind and the sense organ together creates a very deep level of ignorance, and we continue to live in ignorance, and that is what the problem continues in our life. So the master is saying that consciousness is the witness consciousness of both your subtle mind, your sense organ. Sense organ can only see what is outside. Mind can see the thoughts and the feeling and the mazes, etc., etc., etc. So before the mind gives any interpretation, I have to maintain my awareness. Let me explain totally in a different way that will make simpler to understand, and then we can, when we go deeper, we will pick up this concept again. You see, just what I said, that the mind is a reflected consciousness. So there is another way to explain the mind. Forget about that it is a reflected consciousness. Just say it is conscious entity. So it is a receiving station. It is a responding station. 2. It is an interpretation station. So we receive the external stimuli from all these 5 sense organs. Now the interpretation center is in the mind, and it says you have a brown t-shirt. That interpretation is done by the mind, not by the sense organ. And then I respond, yes, you are wearing this brown t-shirt. Receiving, responding, and interpretation. So then we have an internal stimuli. We have biological drive, I feel thirsty. Biological drive, I take an action. I have many thoughts, feeling, images, sensation, projections. That is internal stimuli. So hunger, say for example, your body is hungry. So now this interpretation center in the mind has to give an interpretation in the form of a thought. You are hungry, you need a food. Then only you can make an effort for a food. You received a stimuli inside or outside. You have a thought for anything inside or outside. They all are happening in the presence of the knower. Nothing is outside. Nothing is outside. That is the witness consciousness we have all the time in life. That is where we fall into knower, 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 knower. So this master is saying to the non-seeker, don't create a problem by saying that there are many knowers, there is only one knower. Don't create a false knower through your mind, because that mind is changing. That is an individual consciousness. Individual consciousness is reflected consciousness. It is the mind. The knower and the mind are different. So that is what are the two topics. So always remember that two types of ignorance. One is the presence and other is the absence. So if I become aware that this ignorance is because of the presence, so what is happening in my mind is false in the mithya. You stay there, you are there.